In 1999, specifically by the Department of the Navy themselves, looking for a special purpose rifle that they would need for their own special operations, or specifically certain situations when during on the ship. Well, let's be real, an M4 was way too long, and specifically even an M16 is way too longer than that. So, in Colt's answer for that situation, specifically from the Navy side, comes out with the wonderful number and nomenclature that was produced for a CQBR M4 known as the Mk18. Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to another episode on Airsoft Master. So today we're going to be doing something a little bit different and actually talking about our own personal builds on here. Specifically for my own is in something on the Mk18 side is the G&G TopTech CQBRs. Now what's nice about this is basically on here is a 10.3 inch outer barrel for basically like the real steel types. Now what's nice on these guys is I have here is a stock basic one that I just kept all the way throughout and went a little bit more modified to what other needs I would need as well. Now let's go ahead and talk about the rails in the front. On the front of the rail for my stock one you'll see is the standard CAC style quad rail system that's basically it has a 20mm Picatinny on the top and on the other sides as well. What's nice about that is it's still the master type of rail you want to put when it comes to putting any other generic type of accessories, such as light laser systems, flashlights, or even foregrips. Heck, even a grenade launcher if you wanted to. We'll talk about that on the next one. Now, the same thing can be said about even on my Mk18 with the copy of the Daniel Defense rail, which is about 9.5 inches. What's nice about that is, again, the quad rails all the way throughout with Picatinny so I can able to do the other type of accessories that I want to put on there. Now what's nice about it is, again, it's a 10.3 inch on front of me is the triangle sight, and the one that's a free floating style barrel. Again, what's nice about these barrels inside with the actual G&G type I have here is they're 14mm counterclockwise, so if I want to put like a tracer unit or even a suppressor, it can be done. But I will say something that's really important when it comes to doing a Mk18 build, which is a problem sometimes. If you want to put a suppressor on these guys, which I do know, specifically if you got the 10.3 inch actual outer barrel, sometimes the flash header just barely sticks out. So you're not going to be able to do any of those suppressor types and it'll be way too flush. So what I did is I actually bought a 1.5 little adapter that put in the front of the barrel and able to put my actual Gemtech suppressors I see here, such as the Mad Bull Gemtech suppressor that you'll see on my tip end, so I can put any other types. Again, something nice to the touch and still be able to be used. So what are some attachments that I will actually put on my rifle itself for my close quarter situations? Well, two things comes to mind. A flashlight and also a light laser systems for basically for target designation. Now what's nice about that is with the Bravo Pack box itself or even the FMA Engol that I have on the other ones, it's nice is because of the fact that, say for example, if we need to use it and we don't have any optics, we can always go back to our lasers. The problem with lasers is they can be seen everywhere. So that is a problem. But it's again, it's just something nice to have as a rule of that little more kosher type of build. What's nice as well for me specifically is the flashlight is the lumens that's on here. On here basically I have is the standard Watson little Scout replica of the actual flashlight that you'll see from the Surefires, which is also pretty nice. Again, I can actually have a 45 and it swivels out if need be to get it out of the way. Again, something nice I would put on. Now for foregrips wise, I always like using a vertical because again, it's more stable for me. Some other people do like to use the angle foregrip because it's a lot easier to relax in. For me, it's more just comfortable because of the fact that, again, it's very stable into the situations. Again, can shoulder it. It's just something I do like. Now for both of these, you'll see is I have both the Magpul vertical foregrip, the RVGs, and black for the black one, and tan for my Mk18 Mod 1. Again, simple little features that would help out in regards to that. So one thing that I do like about the G&G TopTech line is the fact that it always comes with the full metal body for the upper and lower receivers. Again, something more realistic to like the real steel types, and also it does help out when it comes to durability because the fact that, well, it has a lot of character as you can tell by these rifles. I mean, it's gone through Milsim West and Lion Claws. Heck, some of these even came with me to North Carolina when I was actually stationed out there in Jacksonville. These things were pretty nice. Again, took any type of heat. Now, one thing I also do like is the fact that you still have your familiar AR functions such as the selector being safe, semi, and full auto. you have a functioning bolt catch and also a functioning forward assist, but not the way how you would think about that. So let's actually talk about this in the gearbox wise. Now, one thing I do like about my gearbox and customization is it has what's known as the pneumatic blowback gearbox. It doesn't really do anything, but it adds that little cool feature that I do like about it, which is one thing I'm a sucker for, is electric blowback. Now, again, the way it works is the piston will drive into the actual bolt and push the bolt back. Simple as that. Remember I told you about that functioning bolt catch, or also the functioning forward assist? There's a reason to it. Now, what's nice is when I'm done with the day and I don't want to basically mess up my spring, instead of just dry firing it in normal of the actual ARs, I would just push the forward assist and it would decompress the spring. Again, nice little features that G&G did. And this rifle came back way back a long time ago. Now, for modifications on the actual lower end of it, the only thing I did is basically change the trigger guard for this one on the Mk18 Mod 1 to give it the little accents to the real type of color for the Mk18 Mod 1 rail. Again, little touches is you can't go wrong with adding black with a little bit of tan. Again, really nice textures. And again, a really nice little placement of two-tone. There's only a little bit of differences on this one compared to this guy. Nothing else. But let's actually talk about it in more in depth. For my cylinder head, I'll use either an ASG or a low neck cylinder head for the M4 basis, with the nozzle to complement it by modify a polycarbonate. Again, just the nice little seals and compressions that I would need for basically on the front end. For my piston and compression wise, all you would use is an SHS 14 tooth piston body, and as well to that is an ASG or low neck metal piston head. What I would do is I actually would re-grease it myself and also reshim it in regards to keeping a better compression on the end. Now, basically, depending on this is where I get a little bit different is what I would use these rifles for. Again, the stock one I use more often for indoor type of fields such as Tac City or N1 to keep it around the 350 range. Now for this guy, I actually use this more for outdoors, and this is where I would change it actually for the spring itself. While this guy is using a 110 modified, this guy here is using also is an ASG 125 spring. Again, something really nice in regards to keeping it around the 385 to 390 feet per second. And this guy to keep it at the 340 to 350 feet per second. Now, motor-wise, motor itself I like to use is the ASG 30K boost motors. Again, something really nice when it comes to complementing even on my gear set itself, which is the SHS 16-1 gear set. Really nice touch tones, and it actually helps out with either the middleman of balancing between trigger response and also the speed if I needed to go full auto or burst. Now, the MOSFET itself is where things get a little bit different. On the MOSFET on this guy, I actually use a Gate Titan, and this guy here is just the stock MOSFET that is provided on the actual gun by G&G. Shout out to G&G for durability. Now for my hop-up chambers and also for my inner barrel. Both of these basically is around the equivalent for the inner barrel. It's going to be a 603 260mm inner barrels. For this guy I have is my Mad Bull Black Python, and then for this guy I have is basically my Lilacs Prometheus inner barrel. Now for the hop-up chambers itself, usually what happened is I had to use like the regular stock ones depending on my magazines I would use. But unfortunately, when I converted to the actual PTS EPM ones, they wouldn't feed in the chamber. So I changed them out for both of these guys. For example, on the Mk18 Mod 1 here, I'm using a Lilacs wide chamber rotary style hop-up. And then for the stock one, basically, not really so stock now, is the Max hop-up chamber inside. Both of these help out in regards to feeding, and as well to that to help out fine-tuning my hop-up for any type of weight size BBs that I want to use on both of these rifles, depending for indoor or outdoor. So, pistol grips. One thing I actually do like as a company more is the PTS EPG, also known as the Enhanced Polymer Grip. There are two different types that I would actually use, surprisingly, is the ones that actually is provided, which is the EPG Compact or the EPG just regular, which means is it has the beaver tail on the back end on the receiver. Now, for this guy, for basically keep it more compact, just like the short rifle itself, I went with a compact grip because again, it's a nice angle of engagement on the reel and on the receiver, and again, something to keep it more of the tone of keeping it still compacted. But let's go into forward of actually my stock. This stock is basically known as the VFC QRS stock. One thing that you'll see this is most likely on their lineup of their Avalon series on the rifles. But why do I like them? Well, for starters, again, it's another nice middleman for regards of keeping it slimline. At the same time, the body space on there has enough to fit 2000 milliamp batteries, 11.1 lipos that I would use on these rifles. Again, it's a very good spacious type of battery space that you would need inside the stock. I mean, anything else that would make it actually more spacious would be like the PTS EPS stock. But again, for me that's a little bit too bulky. So I actually went with the QRS because again, it's something that I would just need in minimalistic side, but it's still a good amount to put a beefy type of battery to be using for 3-day type of operations. Now, speaking about basically keeping the minimalistic, but at the same time, really useful for me is these red dots. Now, with the red dots itself here basically it is my own personal setup of the 5.53s. Now, with the 5.53s itself, something that I do like about it is, again, it still has the nice space to put AAA batteries, which is what we always use on our headsets, or sometimes even like other type of flashlights you will have out there on the field. So again, more conveniency on that. What's nice is also I put is the actual lens protector on these guys because I'm afraid of getting shot out. And let's be real, getting these shot out would be a pain in my budget and my wallet itself. So to keep it a little simple, spend a little extra 10 bucks on these actual nice little lens protectors to keep them clean and also being shattered. So for overall on these guys builds, I built this guy around from this guy here. Specifically, it was actually on the wall in the back of me about 2015 for this one. This was actually the second rifle I bought from the store here when I actually started working here a long time ago. Now what's nice about it is this build was completely done all the way through and I've been using it since then as of right now. Even you'll see me using this during the time at Tac City or N1. It's probably been common. Now for this Mk18 Mod 1 here, I built this around like the 2017 to 2016 time frame. Again, something that just came into mind and came randomly again at my doorstep to be exact. Now what's nice is I wanted more of the variability of the difference. But Mike, why would you want to own two of the same rifles? There's a little saying I would say, different gun, different situation. And again, to more me, it's more convenient in the sense of I rather just, instead of just swapping parts or lowers, just might as well get the whole brand new gun and just go out there and go play. Again, but that's just my own opinion in regards to that. Again, with these rifles, it's just something that you'll see me more often with the field if I just wanted to go run a gun and have some fun with it at the end of the day. But other than that, what do you guys think about my builds? Drop a comment below and what do you guys think about it? Also, what would you guys want to put as a different attachment? Drop a comment below on YouTube. And basically, if you're looking for any accessories or any builds that we want to help you out, check it out at airsoftmaster.com. My name's Mike. I'll see you guys in the next episode.
This video is brought to you by Airsoft Master.